In this video, you're going to learn how to Dockerize a Java application, which is the process of packaging your app with the purpose of running it inside a Docker container. This is a pretty painful thing if you're doing it for the first time, mostly because you can run into those kinds of issues, but also because for such a common and needed process, there is no blueprint on the web that you can refer to. The idea is very simple. You need to package the build artifact of your application and all its dependencies into a jar file, which is also called uberjar or fatjar, and then you need to create a Docker image that contains this jar file. In the following minutes, you're going to see two examples of Dockerizing a Java application. The first one will use a Spring Boot application, which is way easier to Dockerize, and the second one will do the same thing but for a plain Java app, which requires some tweaking. So now let's jump to the code to see this in action. Alright, so first let's create our Spring Boot application. I'm going to go ahead and take the dependency for the Spring Boot Starter Web dependency. We want to create a very simple Spring Boot application in order to kind of see how to Dockerize the application out of the box, right, from scratch. You may have a more complex setup in your application, but you need to adapt things along the way. But even on the web, you will not find this kind of example so that you can really see how things should work out of the box. So first of all, we need to download this Spring Boot Starter Web dependency. I'm going to annotate the main class with the Spring Boot application annotation, and right here on the main method, I'm going to say Spring application.run. Now I'm also going to create a very small controller, let's say hello controller, right? Just so we can see that the application actually works. Now I'm going to also create a package called controllers to kind of move this here. Now if you run this, we should see that it works as expected, right? So we got this initialized on the port 8080, and if we go on the terminal and say curl localhost 8080/hello, we're going to see that we got hello back, right? So the application works. Now, in order to Dockerize this application, we need to create a fat jar, which is basically an archive with all the classes in this project and all the resources so that we can integrate that jar into a Docker file that can be used to create a Docker container. This is basically the chain that we're going to follow. Now, in order to create this jar, we're going to first go into the project directory of our application. I'm going to run the list command to kind of see all the files that we have in our directory. Now, Gradle is a very interesting build system because it allows you to add plugins, to customize the workflows. It plays a key role in automation of any JVM-based applications. So in order to work with Gradle, we have this binary here, which is called GradleW, which stands for Gradle wrapper, and we have a number of commands that we can pass to this wrapper. For example, the command tasks will tell us all the tasks that we have available in this project, right? So we have some build tasks, we have some documentation tasks, and we have some helpers. The classical tasks that we can run are the following. So we can say Gradle. Actually, first of all, let's run the list command again, and we can run Gradle clean. When we run Gradle clean, we're going to basically delete the build directory. This build directory is very important because it contains the generated artifacts for our project. So if we run list again, we're going to see that the build directory is no longer there, right? Because it was deleted by Gradle. Now, if you run Gradle build and run list again, we can see that we got a build directory here, which actually contains our classes, right? So we have generated classes in the classes directory. Actually, let's switch to IntelliJ because we can see it even better. So in the classes directory, we have our main class and also the hello controller, which is actually compiled, right? So it's a .class file. We also have right here some empty directories, and also we have a jar. Now, as I mentioned previously, we need to create a jar for our application. And let's take a look on this jar to see if we can use it, right, to run our application. So if you go to build libs, we discover this jar here. Now, in order to run a jar, we need to run the command java-jar, and we need to pass the jar file. Now, as you can see, we got this error, which is a very common error when you're trying to create a fat jar with your application. Now, in Spring Boot, we have a very simple way to solve this problem, which is by using the Spring Boot plugin. So if you search on the web for Spring Boot Gradle plugin, we're going to see in this documentation that we got some details around it. The main idea is that we can use this plugin for Spring Boot to get extra tasks in our Gradle setup that we can use to generate directly a Docker image with our application. We're going to import this Gradle plugin right here. I'm going to hit Gradle sync so we can have it downloaded on our local system. And then I'm going to go back on the root directory of our project. I'm going to run Gradle tasks again. And now we can see, if we take a look right here, that we got a number of additional tasks here. We got this boot run task, which is new, and also this one, boot jar, and also boot Docker image, and also a couple of other ones. Let's run a couple of those tasks. So if you run Gradle boot run, we can see that our application starts, right? So this is a task that allows us to run the application from the command line exactly how we would run it from IntelliJ IDEA. Now, if we run the command boot jar, we're going to see that in the build libs directory, we got this jar. Then if we run java-jar spring boot, we can see that the application starts, right? So we don't have that error anymore. And this is really nice because out of the box, we got a fat jar with all the dependencies in it. Now that we have this jar, what we're left to do is to create a Docker image. But this Spring Boot plugin helps us to do that as well, because we have this extra task here, boot build image. If you run this Gradle task, what it will do is to connect to the Docker runtime. It will download all the required dependencies, and it will create a brand new Docker image with our fat jar in it. We're going to wait a couple of seconds, and the image will be created. So the image is ready now. If we run the Docker images command, so as you can see, we got here our Docker image which contains the jar for our application, and those other images are required for this builder task in order to have a base image that can be used as a starting point to be able to create our application image. Now, if we run docker run minus interactive followed by our image, and we also need to provide the image tag because it tries to search for the latest tag, we can see that our application starts, and this time it runs inside a container. So if we run docker ps, we can see our application running, our container running. Now if we try to launch a request to actually see how our application responds by running the curl command that we did previously, we can see that we cannot connect to our container. And that's because we don't have a port mapping set up, because when we launch this docker run command, we didn't provide a port mapping. So what we need to do is to say right here -p, which stands for port, the local port, and the port in the container. And when we run this command, we're going to see on the docker ps that we got this port mapping, meaning that any request that I'm going to launch on the local host 8080 will be routed to this 8080 port on the container, right? So in this way, we have access to the port of our application. Now, if we run the curl command again, we can see that it responds properly with a hello back response. So our application works in the container as we expect. Now the main question is, what happens if we don't have a Spring Boot application? Because this plugin actually helps a lot to create this image out of the box. Let's create now a new project where we got a very simple Java application. Let's say simple app. We're going to use Gradle as well. We're going to also set up the JDK. In this scenario, the things are a little bit more complex, and we're going to see in a second why. Let's say that our application just prints something on the console and just waits for 1 second. Now, if we get back to our application and we run the Gradle tasks command, we can see that we have this jar task that looks promising, right? So you may be tempted to run this task and expect a fat jar to be created on the libs directory. And let's do that to see how it works. So we can say Gradle jar and then go to build libs. We got this jar and we say java -jar and we got back the same error. Now, what is this error actually telling us? Well, it tells us that we don't have a main class defined in the manifest file of this jar. Now, a jar is basically just an archive which contains a bunch of files, or specifically the .class files that were compiled by the Java compiler. And we can actually inspect what's going on inside this jar file because it's actually an archive, right? So we can use the jar -xf command followed by the jar file to unpack this jar. And now if we type list, we can see that we got 2 directories in our current directory, which are basically the files inside our jar. Now, if we use the tree command, we can see that we have only a single .class file, right, in our package directory. And we also have this manifest.mf file. And because the error specifies manifest keyword here, let's inspect this file to see what it contains. We can see that it contains only the manifest version. And this is problematic because it also needed to have here another line which specifies the main class in our application that should be executed initially, right? And basically, when we try to run this command, it says that I don't know what is the main class that I'm trying to execute when you want to run this jar, right? So this is the main problem. Now, how do we solve it, right? Because we can't actually put the main class right there and then unpack the jar. Maybe this would be an option, but I'm going to show you how you should fix this on the right way. So there are actually two steps that we can do to solve this. First of all, we need to use the application plugin. Gradle has this plugin which is called application, and if you search for it, Gradle application plugin, we're going to see that this plugin actually allows us to make this JVM application executable, just like an exe or any kind of file that you can execute directly, right? So you can basically use this plugin, and you can also configure it by specifying a main class. And this is what we need. So right here on our build.gradle file, we're going to say main class name equals to org.example.main. Now if we try to run the same command again, so Gradle jar, and go on the build libs directory, we can see that we got the same error, right? If we inspect the manifest file again, we can see that we still don't have this in place because the jar task actually doesn't know to look on the main class that we specified for the application plugin. So to solve this, we need to use another plugin, which is called the shadow jar. This plugin is designed specifically for this use case of creating a fat or an uber jar. The way we can use it is by just going on the GitHub repository, and by clicking on this plugin portal link, we got this error which says that our Gradle version should be 8.0 at least in order for this to run. So we're going to go right here on the Gradle properties, and we're going to say 8.0 here, and we're going to say Gradle sync again. This will download basically the Gradle 8.0 version so that it could be compatible with our plugin. And what this shadow plugin actually does is to give us a number of tasks. So if we run Gradle tasks again, we can see that we got those two extra tasks, nose and shadow jar. Of course, this is the one that we need, and we also have some other tasks for the distributions and to be able to run the application using the fat jar. Now, if we run this shadow jar command and we go to the build libs directory, we can see that we got this file which says -all at the end. Now, if we run this file, so java -jar followed by the jar file, we can see that our application running. Now, just for the sake of curiosity, let's go back and type Gradle clean and then shadow jar again and go back here, right? So we can inspect the content of this jar to see if the manifest actually contains the main class now. So jar-xf. So as you can see here, we got this other line which says main class followed by our main class with a fully qualified name. That is very important, right? The main class should have the fully qualified name, including all the packages that is part of. So for that reason, we got the jar working right now. The second step is to create a Docker image. How do we do this? A Docker image can be created using a Docker file. A Docker file is just a file with a bunch of instructions that Docker knows how to interpret, which has this role of starting from a base image, applying a number of instructions like copying files, executing bash commands, or things like that. And finally, you should specify the command that you need to run when the container starts. This is the main anatomy of a Docker file. Now, how do we do this? By just creating a new file that we're going to call Docker file. And in this Docker file, we're going to start with the first instruction which says from, where we specify the Docker image that we want to start from. And we're going to use openjdk column 17. This Docker image is already present on the Docker Hub, which is the main repository of Docker images. So if we go on the Docker Hub and search for this image, we can see that it's present here. And the 17 tag is actually present if we go on the tags category. It actually has one tag that starts with 17, somewhere around here. And we need basically the latest Java 17 version. This image contains the Java development kit that we actually need to run. This is not entirely required because you can also have the Java runtime environment in order to run a jar file. But for this demo, we're going to use the openjdk image. Now, another instruction that we also need to run here when we create basically our image is the copy command. the copy command allows us to copy files from the current directory on the image. We want to copy basically the fat jar, which is located in the build directory. I'm going to just take the file name and I'm going to place that jar into the root location in the container, and I'm going to call it myapp.jar. Right? I'm just going to rename it because the name is too long. Now, you can also add directories or switch directories here. All the commands you can find on the Docker file reference, right? You can also run any kind of bash command, basically. Now we're going to keep it simple. Now the last command that you need to have on a Docker file is called an entry point. Entry point is another command that will be run when the container starts. So if we go right here, we can see that it has this format of an array, basically, of strings. The first one is Java. The second one is the first parameter, in this case -jar, and then we need to provide the jar file. So basically, when we run this image, Docker will run this command, java-jar, followed by the application jar. So this is basically a very simple Docker file that does the job for this demo. Now, in order to materialize this Docker file into a Docker image, we need to say docker build -t, which says from tag my app, and then dot. This dot is very important because it specifies where the Docker file is located, but also the context in which the docker build command runs. So it's very important to have this dot at the end. Now, when we run this command, so it looks like we don't have some kind of permissions, but this should not necessarily be a problem. Yeah, for some reason this was a transient error. It may happen, right? There shouldn't be any kind of problem around the access because this image, this base image basically is publicly available on the Docker Hub. So yeah, for some reason it might fail, just have to run the command again. Now, as you can see, we got this executed. Also, we got this copy command executed properly. So the command runs successfully. Now, if we run docker images command to see our image, we can see it right here. And let's run it, docker run -interactive. Yeah, we can see our application running. Now, if we go right here and say docker ps and log in on our container, so docker exec -it bash, we can see that in the root file system, we have our application, our jar application right here. And when we execute this command, docker run, Docker just executed the entry point. So that's how you pack a Java application into a Docker file that you can run on a Docker container. I really hope you found this video useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.